Hello everyone, this is Runaway from the Mortal Voyage Guild on the Argonescent server, playing DDO. My wife and I competed in the Duo Tournament 5 held by the Mortal Voyage Guild, and in week 2 we completed the Clan Nashtooth quests, and in doing so we created a couple of interesting builds. I don't know if they're wholly original or all that epic, but they were interesting and I want to share them with you. We were limited via the tournament rules to making a bard and making a wizard. Now either one of them could take a single splash of cleric or a single splash of rogue, but you could not splash both characters with the same class. So what we did was this. I made a bard that was also a rogue, and she made a wizard that also had a splash of cleric. We're going to start with my build that was the bard rogue. Now typically, as you make a class with a splash of rogue, you really want to splash the rogue first. And here's why. Because when you do so, you get all the extra skill points from being a rogue. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot some days, but it certainly can be. I believe this is how I started it. Maxed out my charisma, kept my constitution at 15, knowing that I would be able to raise it up later. But with a 14 intelligence, I get 2 skill points, because that's my modifier. Plus 1 for being human is 3. Plus 8 for being a rogue is 11. And then you multiply that times 4 at first level. That should give me 44 skill points. Well, that's an awful lot of skill points. And you can see that you can really just crank out the skills down here and maximize a lot of what you might want to do. Now I'm just increasing all of them to get you to the point to where I decided not to do it this way. Because you see, I'm going to be a bard by focus, and as a bard I want to have access to meta magic feats. And you can see here as I scroll down through the feat list, there are no meta magic feats available to a rogue at first level. And what's the point of having the extra feat as a human if you can't access the meta magics your bard wants? So we're backing it up here, and I took bard at first level. And as I said earlier, that is something typically you simply wouldn't do. You simply would want all those skill points because they come in so handy. But this is only going to be a character that goes to level 4, and I wanted to be sure that I was able to put some serious smackdown on my meta magics. So this is what we did. Now you can see I only started with 36 points this time because, sadly, the bard doesn't get all those hit points. Well, I want to max out my perform. I want to max out a little spellcraft perhaps just in case I take something else. Definitely want to max out some heal. Do I have enough to get my search and my spot? Well, that's perfect. I might have wanted to put some in tumble instead of spellcraft. I don't know if I'll really be casting anything outside of perform spells, but we're going to go on next anyway. And as you can see now, voila, meta magics, empower, nice. Scroll down here, see if we can't find maximize, sweet. And that is why I took bard first, so that I could have access to the extra feats that would allow me to use my meta magics. Alright, let's give myself a name. Of course that's taken. And Appley Pie has now joined the server. Here we go. Now here's something, maybe an opportunity to show you a little something not everybody knows, and I only learned this recently myself, though I've been playing for some time. And that is, you can just set up your UI. I'm going to type here in the general chat where my mouse is here, and watch what I'm doing. And voila, all my stuff is set up. It's just that simple. And all you do is by going into here, and you can see that's my name, but you can go into here and you can see that I have set up my UI as a layout, and I've saved as a default this configuration. It just makes it simple. You do it every single time, and you do it just by loading in that same layout. I'll give you an example. So let's say I wanted this to be my layout. Set up right here. I can save it. And just like that, it's been saved. So now, even if I move them around, or they get moved in some other way, if I want to load it back up again, voila, and it pops right back on there. Just that simple. And it's just a nice, easy way to have your layouts, and as those of you who play with me know, I have deleted a lot of characters. I loaded a lot of characters back into Korthos, and that means I had to reset their screens. This just makes it easy. Alright, back to the character build. So, here we go. We're going to start at level 4. I'm going to take the path of the rogue for level 2, and at this point, my skill points have increased, and what I'm looking to do is really make sure I maximize my rogue skills, because right now they're class skills, and for the next couple of levels, they will not be class skills. I better make sure I got my spot and my search up while they're class skills, right? And just like that, they're maximized. Spot, search, disable, all maximized, keeping things real. Here we go. Next. Oh, we get sneak attack. It's all lovely. Let's do it again. And now we go back to our 2 bard levels and start again. Now, I don't want my... Well, basically we want to make sure that we have our perform skill maximized, because you have to have at least 6 points in your bard perform skill to be able to keep some of your bard abilities useful. Now, that being the case, that doesn't mean that I always played it very well. In fact, when I played this character for the duo tournament, I didn't use a lot of his abilities that I should have. It was really kind of sad. So, if you happen to watch that video, forgive me. I'm not much of a bard builder, and I wasn't really used to playing him. Probably makes me a bad person to some of you, but you'll have to forgive me. Alright, now for the 4th feat, third feat that you get at level 3, some people may want to choose magical training, so you get echoes of power. I'm going to use that my enhancements. Some people may want to use something like enlarge, so you can hit people from further away. I chose quicken for mine, and that just meant that I was able to put it on my SLAs and not have to go through their maining, and I could not be interrupted by damage. My spell was going to fire even if I was being hit without having my concentration high enough. And there are other options, but I felt that for the beings how I knew I was going to be 2-manning the quest, I might be taking some damage. I wanted my spell to work. End of story. And for my second spell, I chose Sonic Blast. Alright, back to Specialist, back to Bard, and here we go. Remember how I put 15 in my Constitution, everything else was an even number? Evening it out right here, makes my hit points nice and simple. A well-laid plan. Now, I happen to know already that that's enough and that's enough for this particular quest, so I didn't have to put any more. So, we can just keep going. Max out my bluff. Always want to keep your disable device maximized. You can always roll a 1, and if you watch the video, I did roll a 1, but I disabled the trap on the 1, and that's the important part. Threw some into heal. Now my bluff was good. Couple into balance, make sure I can't be knocked over. One more point, where do you want to put it? Concentration. Let's go. And my last spell. Now this may not always be an important issue here. Some people are going to like Charm Person, Cause Fear. I personally like Cause Fear quite a bit. I chose Expeditious Retreat. I know that running away is going to be half the battle for me. So that's the spell I chose. Alright. and we're off and running. Now to me, this next part is probably just as important in building the character as anything else. And that means the part where you have to go ahead and say, my enhancements are my character. Not everybody feels that way, but I certainly do. There are so many powerful lines you can take with your enhancements that it's important to use them correctly. Notice I didn't put any skills into open lock. There are no open lock issues in the quest we're going to do. So yes, I know that's metagaming, and I recommend you do the same if you want to be able to maximize your character to the best of your ability. Alright, 12 points to spend. I put none in the Human Core, none in War Chanter, none in Swashbuckler, none in the Harper Agent, none. In fact, I put them all in Spellsinger. I wanted to be able to have my SLA. I want to be able to maximize it to the best of my ability. I wanted to have my perform skill the highest possible. I wanted to be able to hit with damage over time and keep things going. I got 4 more skills to spend. It's awesome. Now, you could put them over here, grab some more hit points. It's not a bad idea. Certainly there are worse things that have happened. But if you want to be able to have Echoes of Power, and you did not take the feats for it as you came up, you got to take it here. You have to take all 3 of them in order to get the spell points and the Echoes of Power, as it says when you read that. Now I got 1 more action point to spend. Where would you like to put it? Well, I think I'm going to put it right here. I don't really think that it matters wholly, but I like it right here. And that's it. That is the whole entire build. There is just a wee bit more for those of you watching. When you get an opportunity to take Rogue gear or Bard gear, it really doesn't matter. The Rogue gear starts you out with tools. You're going to throw them away. You're going to get a couple bucks. You're going to go get Masterwork tools because it's an extra +1, and it's worth it. What else did you do with your money anyway? So I picked Bard gear, but the Bard gear wasn't anything too special. It was just about the same as the Rogue gear with one exception, and here's why. This piece right here, the Archivist necklace. You don't get that as a Rogue. And you put that on your hotbar somewhere, and when you get low on spell points, you click it a couple times, and then you have more spell points. It's really that simple. Not complicated at all. You want to have the spell points. You can put your weapons down here, which is what I did. But your weapons are really secondary. You're really not going to do anything with your weapons as far as hitting bad guys. You're just going to keep them on your list somewhere. I think I actually threw half my stuff out. Like this. And this. And this. Weapon selection, when you finally get off the boat, is right here. Now, this is the weapon to take, because it has devotion on it, and you are going to be a healer of some sort, healing yourself, maybe healing somebody else. My wife's character is also human, which we'll get into in a moment, and that gives you 30 more to your positive healing power, and that's all there is to it. If there was something that gave you some form of resonance, some form of, if you carry this weapon you'll get to do damage more with your spells, I might have taken that instead. But there's no such thing. This is the weapon to take. It's the beginning and the end of it. If you want to find a shield you can, but you have to get a buckler, otherwise you have spell failure. And that's it. That's the whole thing. Now, grab your enhancements, your Reverberate, and your Sonic Blast. You grab your spells, your Expeditious Retreat, and your Sonic Blast. You then add Empower to Always On. And I'm just right-clicking here, then sliding over, maximizing, empowering, and quickening all of my SLAs because they don't cost a penny more in spell points for having all this extra little damage to them. And if you watch the video of our run, you can see they do pretty decent little bit of damage. Though, I really should have used my Inspire Competence, my Inspire Courage, and my Fascinate far more than I did, because I used them not at all. Not terribly bright, now was it? Alright, that is that build in a nutshell. You get Sonic Blast, Quickened, Maximized, Empowered. You get Reverberate, Quickened, Maximized, and Empowered. You get your healing spells with 30 points of devotion on it, which makes it look like this. And you can see right here, though my spell critical chance is still only 5%, my positive energy is up at 48. And my Sonic is, well, it's Quickened, Maximized, and Empowered. So it's still kind of badass. Alright, that's the whole deal. Hope you enjoy it. I'm not hanging up on you just yet. We're going to go straight into my wife's character. Alright. What she made was a spellcaster, and she had a cleric-wizard combination. Now, because they both get exactly 2 skill points per level, skill point wise, it did not matter which one she started with. So we'll just start with the cleric. And you may ask why you even bothered splashing the wizard with it. Why not make a Warforged wizard? You know, that's a good question, and you certainly could. There's nothing wrong with that build. But we enjoyed the idea that both of them were fleshy and both of them would have some curing. So if one of us were to die, the other one could still be self-sufficient. And onward we went. So, cleric. Path. Custom. Race. Human for the extra feats. And here we go. She put her strength at 17, knowing that at level 4 she was going to be able to increase it to 18. Her intelligence, I believe she went to 14 with it, and then only 11 with wisdom. That was it. The whole 9 yards. Easy as that. 20 points. Concentration. Healing. Balance. Jump. And I don't believe she did anything else with that. I have no idea where she spent her last 4 points. Let's just assume that she did something with them in Spellcraft, just because. But I don't think she cast a single offensive spell. Very tricky, this woman. Alright, let's do it that way. Alright, the class feat. In this case, the class feat had very little use. It was +1 to hit with bows. Here's +1 to hit with longswords, which she was not going to take. And since those are the only choices, we're just grabbing one. Now, here's where it gets interesting. She did grab power attack and two-handed fighting at first level. That's right. She's going to put all that strength to use. She gets all these spells for free. She made herself neutral, I believe. Now let's load her in and go through her leveling and her enhancements. Now, as you can see, as a cleric, she already has Cure Light Wounds, she has Command, she has Fear. Like magic. She also has access to full plate. She also gets access to being able to use shields, and her cure spells have 0 spell failure. Where if you had made the Warforged and tried to put any armor on them at all, your repair spells would then have spell failure. Alright, we're taking all 3 levels of Wizard. So we're going to max out concentration. We're going to max out our balance to the best of our ability. There's heal. And we have one more to put somewhere. I really don't know what she did with her skill points. She can't be trusted. Alright, the class feat. Now, the class feat here, I believe she took mental toughness just for the extra spell points, though she could have taken quicken. Cannot be affected by spell points. Also, she could have taken any kind of spell focus here. But for a class feat, oh, she took augment summoning. That is right. She told me this. Alright, augment summoning. For spells, she added immediately to her list the little buffing spells that you get so that you can cast spells, throw your armor on, and go from there. She's a smart woman. I do not know of another spell she grabbed. She may have grabbed Cause Fear. But definitely the buffing spells. The spells you can throw on yourself, then put your armor on, and they're still being on you the whole rest of the time. Alright, back to maxing out concentration. Some balance. Where else did she go with that? Heal. Jump. And here is the creme de la creme, cleave. So when she hits you, it really hurts. Alright, and here we can see that she finally gets to even out her strength to 18. She keeps her intelligence and her wisdom high enough to be able to cast her spells without getting too crazy about it. Still keeps her concentration up, so she'll be able to heal in combat. Let's see, spellcraft, I suppose. No reason to put a half point in balance or a half point in jump. I suppose here we have to wonder where the hell she did put her skills. Alright, well, let us assume that she put them somewhere and move on from there. Now at level 2, she could have taken Blur, she could have taken Invisibility, Auto's Dance, anything, but I know she took Resist Energy because she cast it on me in the game. And I wouldn't be surprised if she took Blur as well, but I don't know for sure. A couple of good buffing spells that you can cast on yourself before you put on your heavy armor again. And now, the action points. Alright, she put nothing in the human tree. She put nothing in the Radiant Servant tree. She put nothing in the Divine Disciple tree. She put nothing in the Harper Agent tree that I'm aware of, but we'll come back to that. She skipped on the Archmage, and she put some in the Pale Master set, and we'll come back to that in a moment. Alright, she went and got herself a Skelly. The Skelly she was able to grab a hold of and have him run around with her so that they could both draw aggro together, and it was crazy. So she then put some in the Eldritch Knight set, got herself some extra hit points. She liked the hit points so much, she couldn't be without them. I don't believe she got the extra mage armor because she got the heavy armor, so I think she got this. Then she got the double point proficiency in all weapons, martial weapons and such. And she had one more action point to spend. She may have just done that. That sounds about right. It seems like her. Now that being the case, here's what she did. She ran right down to this character, grabbed up the cleric gear. She got +2 starter full plate. She got herself whatever the hell that is. Get rid of him. Belt, some shoes, gloves, and the Archivist set. Quickly put that on your hotbar. Turn on your power attack. Keep your cure spells. She was never going to turn anything. I can't imagine she was ever going to sneak or search something out, but you never know. She is kind of sneaky. Just like that, without even trying, she has an armor class of 25. Her defense at level is 59%. She has a PRR of 31.9 and an MRR of 28.5. She is just like that. She's sucking up damage and moving forward, while she has feats to use, such as cleave, power attack, two-handed fighting. Those are all very nice. I'm not sure why I enabled her shield. I should take that off and see what her armor class is, because that's the important part. Alright, her armor class is 22, 53% chance. Her spell power, not so much. She's really not going to be a big caster. She'd grab the Great Sword. It's an extra 1d6 of fire damage, plus 1 to attack. Ah, crap. I just realized I messed up her enhancements. I forgot to take the enhancement that I know she loved. This one right here. She definitely grabbed that one. Wonder if I could reset these. No, I cannot reset them. Alright. We're going to run down here and talk to somebody in the marketplace. Can I sell? Yep, not for enough. Okay. So basically we could not sell it enough. But the ultimate deal is this was not the enhancement she took. She took this one. This one, and then she took the acid damage. And it charges her weapon with magical damage. Hits all around her in one fell swoop. That does acid damage to everybody. You're going to see that it was pretty powerful stuff. She killed a lot of people. You know, we probably should have recorded it from her point of view because she was the badass. She went around and murdered everybody. I kind of ran around trying not to die. So, again, getting the skeleton. She put the skeletal knight here. The smite foe. The eldritch strike. And she had a lot to choose from. With this on her hotbar as well, she was able to go from cleave to smite to eldritch strike to acid damage, back to cleave, and just really cycle through some damage and kill a lot of bad guys. So, not to mention her nice little skelly here that holds aggro while she's carrying her sword. Armor class is 22. She's plus 5 to hit. She does 2d6 plus 9 slashing and magic damage. She's a mean fighting machine. Well, that's the end of this little tutorial, and it isn't much of a tutorial so much as a section of our builds. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have anything to say, comment about it. If you make builds yourself, or like or dislike, or thought there could be some changes to improve it, please feel free to comment. It won't hurt my feelings at all. All input welcome. And thanks for watching.